Alright, thank you very much for joining me. This is Gulpane, back again. Just another tier maker. So we're going to look at some horror games. And I've got quite a few horror games here. Some I've played, some I haven't played. So I'm going to obviously put the haven't played ones into the old haven't played section. And then I'm going to rank the other ones as well. So let me know what you think about some of these horror games. If you agree with my choices or disagree or completely, I don't know, are indifferent to them. So let's have a right. Let's kick it off here. So this one, I haven't played that one actually. I don't know what that is. Evil Dead, is that the PlayStation 1 one? I played the PlayStation 1 one, and it wasn't really that good. I think that's the PlayStation 1 one. Anyway, I'm not 100% sure. But I know there's one on PlayStation 1. It was kind of like a Resident Evil game, but just not a very good Resident Evil game. So unfortunately, they didn't do a good job there. Is that the original Clock Tower? Actually, you know what? That's not too bad. I'm going to put that in C, actually. I think that's original Clock Tower. That's the one on the Super Nintendo where it wasn't released in Europe, actually. I played on emulator ages ago. You're a girl in an orphanage and you have to run away from that scissors man guy. It's like a point-and-click adventure, but there's a lot of instant deaths and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed it as a kind of a very, very old-fashioned console point-and-click game. I haven't played The Condemned either. I don't know what that's like. It didn't really appeal to me. Clock Tower 3, that is the really, I don't think that's a good game at all. The graphics in it are quite good, but the story in it is so like, oh, it's horrible. Like there's a lot of like there's serial killers and different things and all that. So it kind of alternates between like, like really extreme like violence, and then just like ridiculous kind of campy horror stuff. So I don't know, it's not that great. Silent Hill. Right, Silent Hill Shattered Memories. That's the one with Harry Mason. Oh, I don't really think that was that good actually. I'm gonna put that in D as well. It's not awful, but it's not great either. So Silent Hill Shattered Memories is where you play as, is it Heather Mason? And then I think it's Heather. And then you're basically talking to a psychiatrist and you're recounting the events of Silent Hill 1. But then there's a few different endings with it. I don't really like Silent Hill games anyway. The thing is okay actually. It's not too bad. As a horror game, it's not too bad. As a more of like an adventure game or action game, it's actually a bit better. But it's okay. It's like an early survival horror game. Well, kind of survival horror, not really. Right, that's Alone in the Dark. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one where the guy is actually. I quite like that game. I put it in B. It's the driving sections are just ridiculous. They're so hard. But I do like the parts where you got to put out the fires. And the story in it is okay until you get to the end, and then it's like, ugh. But the graphics in it are really good. I remember getting it for Christmas and just playing it all over Christmas. Me and my housemate, we absolutely loved it and really enjoyed it. For the 360. It was when it was out first, so we'll leave it there. Alone in the Dark New Nightmare. I didn't play this for long, but I'm going to put it in D. It's okay. It's got a really interesting lighting system where for the PlayStation 1 at least anyway, I know it's on PS2 and I think it's on the Xbox original and PC and all that, but for those early consoles, the lighting in it is really good. Like the way the torch lights the backgrounds. I think it's they have like two different backgrounds, one lit and one dark, and then there's just like a transparency thing, but it's very cool. So that's probably, and then the rest of the game is okay. It's like a Resident Evil clone, like so. Haven't played Clock Tower 2. Curse the Eye of Isis. I really like that game. That's excellent. I'm gonna put it up there, even though it's not really good, but it's like one of those between PS2 and PS3 games when they were sort of like the PS2 games were kind of, the graphics were becoming really good, and the games were a bit more involved. And plus I really like the setting in Curse the Eye of Isis as well. You're in like a museum at the start of it's kind of like Vampire. It's kind of like the start of the 20th century or maybe the late 19th century. And you have to go around the museum and sort of, I don't know, there's like there's something to do with Egyptian thing. I haven't finished it actually, I don't know, but I really like that game. Cursed Mountain is okay. I'll probably put it there in C actually. It's for the Wii. There is a bit of motion control, but not that much. But you're going up a mountain and you have to find your brother. It's all right. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. Dead Rising 2. I didn't like Dead Rising 2 as much as Dead Rising 1. I'm going to put it there as well. It is a really good game. I like the mechanic where you have to get the tablets and bring them to your daughter, or she turns into a zombie, the Zombrex. But I don't know. It's not as good as the first game. It's okay, like it's just not as good as the first one. It's pretty good though. Haunting Ground is a very good game, but it's not. I really like Haunting Ground, but I wouldn't say it's a great game. I like the mechanic. Actually, I'm just going to put it in J actually because I like the mechanic with Huey. It's very different than other survival horror games. So most people that play it probably won't like it because they're expecting like a Resident Evil type game. It's more like you just have to run away from monsters all the time, and you can't. Well, not monsters. There's like three main enemies. Debilitus, and then what's that girl's name with the big shard of glass? Danielle, and then there's the guy with the guns. But yeah, it's very difficult, but the graphics in it are amazing. They're really good for PlayStation 2. Like, it's just phenomenal. It's that sort of it's kind of like the quality of like Resident Evil 1 remake graphics. It's really good. Although the backgrounds are 3D, but it's really nice to look at. And plus I love with the dog as well. The dog is the highlight of the game for me. Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2 is actually really good. It's a first-person game, but I wouldn't really recommend the one-player game. It's more about and similar actually. I'd have Left 4 Dead. They're more like the same game. It's the multiplayer aspect of them. I remember me and my housemate got Left 4 Dead, and we played it multiplayer, loved it, and we got Left 4 Dead 2. Played it, from start to finish, absolutely loved it. I think we had quite a lot of there was quite a lot of couch co-op games for like the Xbox 360 at the time. There was Gears of War, Hunt of the Demon's Forge, Kane Lynch. There was quite a lot of like 2-player couch co-op games, so we kind of played a lot of those, and Left 4 Dead was in that vein, so maybe it's a bit better. Let's leave it there to see. Anyway, it's a good game. Penumbra, never heard of that, don't even know what that is. And that is, what is that? It's a Project Zero game for... Oh, it must be Project Zero 3. Didn't play it, so don't know. Rule of Rose... I haven't actually played it. I've seen loads of people play it, but I haven't actually played it, so I can't comment on it. Plus it has like an animal cruelty bit in it, so I would never play it. So, I mean, not even going to bother playing that. Stalker I've heard is excellent. I haven't played it though. It's like a first-person survival horror game made by a Ukrainian developer, I think, but I haven't actually played it, so I can't comment on it. Silent Hill 2, well, that's a tough one. Silent Hill 2, I'll put it there. I wouldn't put it at the top because I don't really like Silent Hill games, but as a game, Silent Hill 2 is just, it's excellent, but I don't really like it. It's because I feel if the story was less psychological horror and more like B-movie, it'd be better, because I don't think video games are like, you can't really have like a serious horror video game. Well, you can, like, obviously, because Silent Hill 2 is a serious horror video game. But, like, I don't know, I just feel it would be better if it was more like B-movie. I know there is the bit with the dog, and there is, the UFO ending and all that. There is some jokey stuff in it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just too serious, and it's trying too hard to be scary. So, I don't know. It's good, though. Siren is okay as well. I have that for PS2, and I also have the remake on the PS3 as well. It's okay. You do this like I forget the name of it now, but you have to look through the eyes of the enemy characters and then kind of position your character in such a way that the enemy can't see you, or they'll chase after you, and it's very difficult to kill the enemy characters in it as well. But it's okay. Like, there's a few different scenarios. The graphics are really good. They use this like warping thing where they warp the actors' faces onto the characters, and it makes them look really weird. So from some angles it looks like photorealistic because it is, but then other angles it looks like it just looks two-dimensional. But Forbidden Siren's okay. X-Files, I think this is I'll put that in S. I love that game. I love those games that try to be like Code Veronica or Resident Evil 2 or 3, where they kind of like either have static backgrounds, but they copy Resident Evil almost exactly, which is exactly what I want. X-Files is like a total Resident Evil clone. I mean, you have Fox, Mulder and Dana Scully, like for Chris and Jill, and then you go around like a little town, and the town has like kind of zombified people, or people that aren't their normal faculties, and you have the different guns. It is quite short, but it's excellent. I really like that game. Resident Evil 0, that's going straight into S as well. Ooh, not into B. The GameCube, actually I've never played. Is there different versions of these games? Because I haven't played the GameCube one. No, it looks like it's just the same one. No, that's fine, yeah. So I'm just going to say that that's the PS4 version there. Yeah, I love Resident Evil 0. Fantastic. I love the mechanic of, you know, using the two characters and switching between them. It's excellent. Eternal Darkness is one that it's on my list, but I haven't actually played it. I've heard it's really good, but I haven't actually played it yet. I haven't played Zombie U either. Obscure, I've actually got Obscure. It's not that good though, that's the only thing. I think I'll put it in C. Obscure the Aftermath for the PSP is what I've played. That's Obscure too, but I think Obscure the Aftermath is the same game as the Wii one and the PS2 one. It's okay. It's not as good as the first one, I have to say. Obscure 1 is a lot better. Obscure 2, you're in a university instead of a high school. But it's too disjointed and it's very confusing as to what's actually happening. Whereas Obscure 1 is a lot better. It explains what's happening a lot better. Forbidden Siren 2 is okay as well. It's not as good as the first one, I don't think, but it's alright. I've never played Amnesia: Dark Descent. I'm watching someone play it at the moment on YouTube, but I've never actually played it, but it does look good. It looks very dark. Dino Crisis 2. Dino Crisis 2 is okay. I'd probably have it at B there, yeah. It's not as good as the first one because it's not really a survival horror game. It's more of a kind of an action game where you get like combos and different things. It's okay. Actually, no, I'm going to put it down at C there because it's not really a horror game like the rest of the horror games are here. Alan Wake is fantastic. That's going into A. I really like Alan Wake. The only thing is the enemy characters are very boring in it. I think if they'd have put more effort into the enemy characters, sometimes you're just fighting smoke and stuff like that, so you got to put the light on the enemy characters. And the story is interesting, although it's a bit stupid at times where, you know, like where he's trying to write the book, and it's just like, well, just, you know, you're writing the book, so just write it whatever we want. It's a good game though, especially with the remaster as well. Silent Hill 4. I'm going to put Silent Hill 4 there. I know Silent Hill 2 is actually way better than Silent Hill 4. So maybe I got to move Silent Hill 2. No, I got to put it... no, actually, probably put it in C then, actually. Silent Hill 4 starts out really well. When you're in the room and you can't get out of it, and you can look out the window, and it is quite creepy. And then there's all the locks on the door. But then, like, the locks on the door, I mean, surely you could, you know, the door opens inwards, like, so, I don't know. But then you have to crawl into the, you know, into the other kind of, the other realm. It's a very different game than the other Silent Hill games, I must say. I think it's because, like, Silent Hill 2 is a spin-off of because Silent Hill 1 seems to be the main series, because, like, Harry Mason is in Silent Hill 1, and, you know, Cheryl is in Silent Hill 3, and then Silent Hill 4 and Silent Hill 2 seem to be a bit of a spin-off, but I suppose they're all spin-offs. So, like, the main game is only, like, Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 3, and then Silent Hill Shattered Memories, and then maybe the one on the PSP where you're the guy in the truck, but I don't know. Silent Hill 4 The Room is okay. Obscure, now this is excellent. I'll put that up in A. Now, Obscure, the very first game, the reason it's so good is because it's two player at the same time, and if you can get someone to play with you, Obscure, couch co-op, it's absolutely fantastic. It's pretty good in one player mode, but it's excellent in two player mode, I have to say. You're a group of teenagers and you go around a school, and there's like a plant monster, but the school is it's at night time. It's really, really good. Love that game. I have not played Call of Cthulhu, so can't comment there. Dino Crisis 3, oh my god, what a terrible game. I remember playing it for the first time. Played Dino Crisis 1, loved it. Don't really like killing dinosaurs though, but Dino Crisis as a game is good. Dino Crisis 2 is okay, it's too actiony though. And then Dino Crisis 3 then is just like, it's like, what were they thinking when they made that? Like, it's so bad, like, oh well, you're in space and all the dinosaurs are like half machine things, I think. Revelations 2, I'd probably put Revelations 2 in a B. It's okay, it's not great, but it's not poor either. I like that Claire's the main character because I really like Claire, but then I think the Barry sections with the little girl kind of really let the game down. Dead Space 3. Dead Space 3 is the weakest of the Dead Space games, I think. I'll still put it in B though. It's because I remember playing it and it seemed like there was so much microtransactions, or there was so much like extra content you had to buy after you bought the game, that I think I stopped playing it. So it was kind of an annoyance to me, like, you know, because I've just bought the game and now I have to pay extra, or there's loads of stuff in it where you have to pay extra for, so I didn't like that. Extermination is okay. Missed it there. Extermination is alright. I'm going to C for that. It's like a very early PlayStation 2 kind of, it's not a survival horror game because there's only a few survival horror games, like Resident Evil is a survival horror game, or most of them are. Extermination is okay. It's like it was a launch game for the PlayStation 2. The story is pretty cool actually, and the main character is cool as well, and it's cool what you can do it's not, you can't really fit it into a specific, it's more like an action game than a horror game with horror elements. But I wouldn't call it a horror game, I call it an action game. Silent Hill. Is that home? Yeah, it is. Silent Hill Homecoming. Like that one, it's the one with the military guy and his brother. That one is not great. I'm gonna put that into C. It's all right. Like I wouldn't class as excellent. It's okay. None of the later Silent Hill games are any good. And there's a Call of Cthulhu. That must be the remake. Haven't played Dying Light either. Resident Evil Outbreak file. That's file 2, is it? I think that's file 2. I'm gonna put that in D. I don't really like Resident Evil Outbreak. Again, Resident Evil 7, didn't really like that either. Already commented that already. Now here's a good one, Cold Fear, his top drawer. I put Cold Fear, probably put it in B. It is really good. I really like the ship mechanic, the start of it, but as you go through the game, it kind of gets a bit boring. So you can tell like that they just either ran out of budget or they had to just release it. Because it is a good game, but the controls are just too wonky to make it an excellent game, to be honest. But it is quite a good game. Have not played that. Actually, I did play that. I put that. I didn't really like that at all. My friend had it on Xbox 360 and my housemate, and I played it. It's like a first-person shooter where there's this ghost girl or something. So it's okay. Haven't played that one either. Have never played that Slender Man game. Oh, get up to the very top. Don't really need to say anything about that. There, it's Resident Evil 2, one of the greatest games ever made. Resident Evil remake. Dino Crisis, right? Dino Crisis. Dino Crisis going into A. It is an excellent game. I really like Dino Crisis. It's just, I wish you didn't have to kill the dinosaurs. I know you don't have to kill them. You can actually run away from a lot of them, but I wish there was... I'd rather kill zombies. Like, I'd rather kill human beings. Because if there was dinosaurs around, I mean, come on. We shouldn't be killing them. Maybe we should kill the... Or not kill them, but... You know, maybe we do, I don't know, just used for pleasure. I don't like it. But Dino Crisis, I really like Regina. I like the setting. Everything about Dino Crisis, apart from killing dinosaurs, is really, really good, I have to say. Night City and Night Cry, never played that. That's what I want to play actually, Dreamcast Carrier, that was really good. The Last of Us is just... I haven't played The Last of Us 2. It's... Actually, that's an EA Last of Us, it's excellent. It is very linear, like, but I'd rather, like, you know, to be kind of exploring a bit more, but it's just, like, such a good... You just can't get away from it. It's such a good game. The Last of Us, absolutely fantastic. Don't know what that is. Resident Evil Revelations 1. I mean, you have to kind of, you know, it was on the 3DS, like, so I'll just put it into B there. It's good. It's a Resident Evil game starring Jill, so Jill's good, and Chris is in it as well, so what can you do? Alien Isolation, that's a really good game as well, but I don't know, it's just... I don't really like the ones where you have to run away a lot. I prefer the ones... I know I said Haunting Ground is an exception, because you have a dog in character in that, and you can use the dog to attack. But Alien Isolation, it's okay. Didn't play Alone in the Dark 2. Can't read that. That's Alone in the Dark 3, sorry. And original Alone... Actually, I did play original Alone in the Dark. Original Alone in the Dark is okay. It's a bit... I played it, obviously, way after it was out. So I can imagine at the time it came out, people would have been like, oh my god, this is absolutely fantastic. But, I don't know, now it's just, you know, everyone's really blocky. It's okay. There's another Amnesia game, I haven't played that either. Amy, not played that. Oh, Clive Barker's Jericho, that is awful, man. Oh, so bad. The start of it is actually okay when you're with the team, but then when you go into, I don't know, whatever the main thing you go into, it's just not good at all. That's Fatal Frame on Wii. Oh, not Fatal Frame 4, never played that. Condemned, never played it either. Doom, never played that. I think I played for like 10 minutes, but I can't really comment on it. Cry of Fear, nope. Cryostasis, gonna be a lot here I haven't played. Deadly Premonition, that's top drawer. Actually, kind of just a little caveat. Deadly Premonition on the 360 is terrible. Didn't like it at all. Whatever they did to the Switch version, they've made the game so much better. I think they've made it easier to figure out, or I don't know, something, the controls are better. But when I played Deadly Premonition, I did not like it on 360, but I really liked the Switch version. Again, you play as like a detective. It's really weird though, but I like it. Chaos Break. I think I'm confusing that with a different game actually, so I'll just put that there. Don't know it. Fatal Frame 2, again, it's alright. Just put it in D there. Fatal Frame 1 and 2 are okay. You go around and take pictures of ghosts. They're alright. Is that the first one? That doesn't look like the cover. It must be a cover from the PC version or something, because I don't recognise that cover at all. They're okay, Fatal Frame. Like, they're I don't know, they're in the Resident Evil style, but they're kind of, the mechanic is so different to Resident Evil that I don't really like it, and I haven't played the third one at all. Oh, Galerians. That is not a survival horror game. That's a regular horror game. That's an RPG, the first one. It's really, really good. I really like Galerians. I never finished it though, but it's like you're this little kid. It's kind of like Akira a little bit, but oh, get up to the very top. So Resident Evil 1 Remake, the greatest remake ever. Fantastic game. I'm actually watching someone play it right now. Going through it. Code Veronica in a horror or survival horror or horror video game tier list. I think you got to put, you know, most of these Resident Evil games at the top because they're just so much better than the rest of the competition. Dead Rising 1 is okay as well. It's better than Dead Rising 2. So I'll put it there at B actually. Dead Rising 1 is really good. The only problem is it's really difficult if you don't have a guide. Like to save all the people, I know any game is difficult if you don't have a guide, or it's easier if you have a guide, but to try and save all the people, or to even to defeat the serial killer monster, not the serial killer monsters, the kind of the main bad guys in it is really hard, but it's a really good game. I really like the first one. Martian Gothic, I played that for 20 minutes, couldn't figure it out. It's going into F. I've heard it's good, but you need a guide. It's where you control the 3 characters and you basically have to do different things. There's a few zombies in it. It's so hard though that I don't know, I just can't figure it out. Resident Evil 6 in a horror tier. I think I'll put it in B there. I'd still like the Leon, just for the Leon and Helena campaign. I think the Chris campaign is not horror, it's action. And then the Sherry, not Sherry, no, this Sherry, isn't it? Sherry and Jake then is just, not great. I haven't played Outlast. Resident Evil Outbreak, that's going in the same place as, where did I put Resident Evil Outbreak File 2? Yeah, it's alright, like, oh, sorry, it's not good. It's supposed to be okay in a, you know, multiplayer mode, but in single player mode, not great. I don't know what that is. Alone in the Dark, it's written there, I can't read what that is there. Parasite Eve 2, really like Parasite Eve 2. Is it as good as the last one? Yeah, it is actually. Is it not? Yeah, it is, yeah. I'll put it there at A, Parasite Eve. It's probably between A and B. It's more of a Resident Evil style game than Parasite Eve 1, because Parasite Eve 1 is like an RPG. But I'll put it there anyway. Don't know what that is. Original Resident Evil 2. Don't need to say about that either. That's an S straight away. And Nemesis, I'm going to put Nemesis an S as well, because in a horror game, it'd be different if this was just Resident Evil, but in original Resident Evil, I don't really like original Resident Evil, to be honest. I prefer, because I played the remake of Resident Evil 1 like way more than original Resident Evil, and then going back to original Resident Evil, it's just like, ugh. Silent Hill 1 is a really good game, but I don't really, even though I can finish it without looking at the map, I don't really like it. I'm going to see here. It is a really good game. It's an excellent, you know, to push the PlayStation 1 to the limits and all that. But I just don't like the story in Silent Hill. I don't know what it is. Resident Evil 4, I'm going to put that in B. It's okay. I don't really like the action-y Resident Evil games. I prefer the survival horror ones. It's still a good game though. I like the mercy missions. Silent Hill 3 as well. This is a lot of people's like favourite game ever. I just don't get it. Like, I don't see why everyone likes Silent Hill 3 so much. Like, the people call it like the perfect game and all that, and I just don't get it. Like, oh well. Silent Hill Origins. Silent Hill Origins is just, that's just like a, I'm pretty sure that's the, like, just the on the Game Boy Advance, isn't it? Or the DS, one of those anyway, one of the handheld ones. It's just like a retelling of the first game, but like through, it's not even a game, like, it's just you just look at images. Original Dead Space is going into A because I love Original Dead Space. It's fantastic, such a good game. It's excellent, really good horror game. And then Silent Hill, I haven't played that one actually. I don't think. The Evil Within is okay. Probably put that like in the middle somewhere. No, I'll give it a C actually, because it's not quite up to Resident Evil 4 standards. It's okay. It just tries way too hard to be scary. Like from the very first section up until like where you're in when you're in the meat locker thing, not the meat locker, where the guy is like cutting up all the people and you have to get around them. It's just trying too hard. Like Resident Evil 5 is, well, just for Sheva, because Sheva's awesome. We'll put Resident Evil 5 into a B there as well. That's not a horror game. That's an action game. That Countdown Vampires. That is, I tried that. That is horrific. A lot of people try to defend Countdown Vampires. Haven't played Original Sweet Home. Haven't played that either. That's one on my list actually. I need to play Dead Space 2. Dead Space 2 is not as good as the first game, but it's still really good, and it's way better than the third game. And then The Evil Within 2. Do you know something? That wasn't very good at all. I don't think. I think they're just it's too confusing. Evil Within 2. They need to make when they're making these psychological horror games, they need to make it at least a little bit easy for you to understand. Because if you play the game for a while and you leave it there and come back to it, you just haven't got a clue what's happening. Like, so it's different with the Resident Evil games. Maybe I'm just biased towards Resident Evil games, but I mean, I could leave down a Resident Evil game, come back to it, and then kind of, fairly know what I was doing. But Evil Within or some of those Forbidden Siren games, I wouldn't have a clue. Like, maybe it's because I just played the Resident Evil games more. Anyway, that's my quick survival horror, not survival horror because most of those games are action games, horror themed game tier list. I'm actually noticing that there's a good few missing that I would have put in there myself, but oh well. So let me know if you agree or disagree with my choices there, and what is your favorite horror game. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much. Adios.